Here is a Lights of America fluorescent light fixture. Looks like a 2-foot fixture. It is indeed a 2-foot tube, 24-inch. The fixture itself is the Lights of America. It's very difficult to read. Lights of America Important Safety Instructions. Model 7020. 118 volts, which is kind of odd. 60 20, and that might be a date code, but I don't know how it decodes. This fixture I got out of the trash. It seems to be a complete piece of junk, but at this point anything fluorescent should be saved because the day is coming where we're not going to be able to get fluorescent anymore. So even if just the tube is good from this, it was still worth getting. So let's see here. It looks like this is starting to come off on one end. This might be very low hours because this doesn't appear to be yellowed at all. I feel like that's going to be a nightmare to get back on. Alright, so here's the shade. It's a little grungy. Might have been near a kitchen or something. But the tube itself is the Lights of America F17T8 CW. Probably for cool white. Yeah, temperature 4200 Kelvin. The color rendering is only 60, which is very poor. That's kind of unusual to have the color rendering notated on there. The CRI, the Color Rendering Index. Lights of America. Was this made in China? Usually Lights of America is not made in China, but I don't know, this feels super cheap. It doesn't explicitly state where it's made. It's got the on-off switch there, and then it has like a boombox kind of connector, which not intrinsically but often is synonymous with something that's kind of cheap. So I'm going to go ahead and grab the cord from this boombox over here. It's actually not quite a boombox cord because it's supposed to be a polarized thing, but this is not polarized, but I don't really care. Oh, it's not going to let me plug that in. You know what this needs? A box fan cord. Let me see if I can find one. I found the box fan that had that takes the cord, but I didn't have the cord with it. So I found this cord off of a laptop charger. It's got some sticky residue on there, but it's got the indentation in the middle. So even though it's not polarized, we're going to jam it in there anyways and hope for the best. Actually, we can plug it in correctly because we know that on this cord it's not a polarized plug, but if we take note of the fact that the textured side of the wire is the high side, we can plug it into the outlet like this and it will be corresponding correctly. Alright, so this is a little flaky here. This has got to just be a cheap electronic ballast, of course. I have no idea what condition it's in. Looks like we might get some kind of a pop out of this when we turn it on, but we'll hope for the best. 5, 4, 3. Alright, it's either busted or it's off. 2. Huh. It works perfectly fine. Once again, I become amazed by what people will discard. Okay, so it's working. It's an instant start. which is not the greatest, but it looks to be pretty low hours because there is zero blackening on the ends of the tube, and you definitely see it with an instant start if it was cycled on and off regularly. So let's take a look at our power information. I'm sure the ballast is complete garbage. The power is 118.9 the volts right now, and the amps is 0.30. The watts is 21 the watts. The power factor is 0.58, which is super poor. So as expected, it's very, very cheap ballast. The switch feels super dodgy, but it works. Well, it's a cheap fixture, but at the end of the day, it's a good working fluorescent apparatus. It's moderately bright, you know, for a 18 watt tube. It's throwing out a good amount of light. I'm not sure what the incandescent equivalence of a tube like this is. I gotta go to sleep, but I would say this outputs the light somewhere around jeez, somewhere around a 60 watts bulb or 40 watts bulb. It's kind of hard to say because the light output surface area is very large on this as opposed to an incandescent bulb, which is small. So the light appears very different. But it's pretty bright. As for the color rendering, well, I've got so much junk on here right now we can't even see the screwdriver. Really don't want to shift that around while it's like that. So I only notated the color rendering at 60. Yeah, it's not the greatest. And if you look at these screwdrivers, the yellow and the red portion is kind of blending together. So what's not rendering very well is the yellow portion. Yeah, it's not great for color rendering. Well, it'll be great for something. I think what I might do with this is I might put it in the garage under that cabinet that's by the larger bench, because I think that the fluorescent lights in there are also 4000 Kelvin in color, so it'll match, and it's just somewhere to put it. It'll look kind of cool to have some under cabinet lighting on a bench, and it's better to put it there than to have it just sit in the box in the closet or something stupid like that.